Okay.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We do have quorum with the four of us here. Let the record reflect that missing are Susan Burmeister, Ben Shear, and Kurt doesn't officially count, and Caroline Netto. Next, we'll move on to the approval of the consent agenda, which is in your packet. If you could check that and provide a motion.
I motion to approve the consent agenda.
Can I get a support?
I support.
Lisa's a little busy writing.
I was not ready for this. I would have brought a computer.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Anybody see any errors, omissions, or corrections? Hearing none, I'll bring it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? Okay, motion carries. Public comments. Is there anybody here that would like to address the board? Okay. Committee reports. Finance Committee.
We met before this board meeting and we went over accounts payable, our financials for food service technology, sinking capital improvement funds, our bond report, balance sheet, investments, credit cards, and bond update, and everything looks good.
Thank you for that update. And that is the only committee meeting to have. I apologize. I sent an email to Kurt and Christy, Kurt's illness and Christy's new family member. I didn't get a response, but I'm going to ask that we table item 7 on our agenda, board member recognition, until when we have Ben present and some others. So, slight adjustment to the agenda. That will be tabled until our next meeting. So, moving right into new business. Item 661, the approval of Close-Up 2026.
Nice.
Sure, you're on board.
Okay. All right, well, first of all, thank you so much for having me speak here today on behalf of the high school students here. We're proposing, we've done this in the past for many years. I know John Slocum used to do this quite a bit, and I wanted to kind of resurrect this program. I thought it was great. I went one time. Kids had an amazing time. This is Close-Up. If you're not familiar with it, you probably read through a lot of that. It is decades old travel group that brings kids to Washington, D.C. This will be March 1st through March 6th, which is during the school year, so that's why I certainly wanted to come through here. I think they've mostly done it at that time in the past as well. So they go to Washington, D.C. They set up, they do everything. It's 100% inclusive in terms of the food, the hotels, the chaperoning 24/7 is all done by Close-Up and their organization. And they have a stellar record of doing this for many decades. And they also set up meetings with our Congress. Most likely it'll be our 2 senators that will sit. Could be our representative as well. But they'll set up those meetings and we'll have a chat with them and they'll take us around DC and hit all the highlights. It's a program, a curriculum that's pretty intensive. Kids who have gone, I've only had positive experiences from that. So it is a pretty awesome thing, but they will be missing a week of school. But I tell you, from hands-on standpoint, I don't think you can beat this experience for these young people. So I've just put up the posters today because I didn't want to get ahead of the approval process, but We'll have a meeting, if approved, Thursday, of just the interest of the kids, and I'm hoping to get between 10 and 20 students. That's my goal. I don't know exactly what it'll be, but somewhere in there. So if we can approve that, that would be awesome, and I know kids have talked to me about it, and so I'd like to be able to ask if permission to be able to take students to this trip, and I will be chaperoning myself. It'd be Sunday to Friday. So.
Could you remind me what age group goes?
So there's 2 different programs. I'm going to take the high school program, so that'd be 9 through 12. So anyone
It
eligible.
is all 4 grades?
Yes, it would be.
Okay.
There is a middle school program, but that's not what I'm interested in. More in the high school program. So yeah, 9 through 12. Well, actually 9 through 11. The seniors obviously this year.
So the tuition cost covers flight, hotel, food?
Yeah, so there's 2 different ways to do it. Kind of being my first kind of actually leading this, I wanted to go with the full inclusive, which would include the flight. So that would be $2,100, $2,127, I think the total bill would be. And that's for flight, that's for foods and chaperone, hotels, everything. The only thing that we'd have to do is provide transportation to the airport and away from the airport. Other than that, it is all paid for. And buses are there. They got Metro passes for us if we want to choose to use those. But all transportation is taken care of once we're there. So once we fly in, they pick us up from, I think it's Reagan National Airport or Dallas, I'm not sure. I think it's Reagan. And they take us right to DC, to our hotels and things. And it is fully liable, fully insured, so hospitals there. So they have everything. I've actually had to do that one time, go to the hospital with the kids.
In case you don't feel like sticking around to the end of the meeting with board comments, I just want to say thank you for
No, it's my
stepping
pleasure.
up
I've been waiting to do
and
this.
taking this on. I have always heard remarkable
Yeah.
things, and it might be fun to ask you to have a couple kids follow up
Sure.
after the
Yeah,
trip
be glad to do that.
with a, just a quick presentation about how their experience was. So thank you for stepping up to do this. Does anybody have any questions for Phil?
I went when I was in high school and it's
Oh, so
like
you-
the best time, yeah.
Yeah, so they will room with other kids. Usually we go 2 and 2, but if there's 4, they'll never sleep in the same bed of somebody from another school. So other than that, usually we try to keep there together. So, it should be a lot of fun.
Is this just for like whoever wants to go, or are you like targeting certain kids?
No, I'm not targeting anybody. Anybody's open. We will have to decide if we're going to fundraise and what that will look like. They do, if we have 10, they'll chip in $1,000 to anybody. So we'll kind of mix that in as well. So we'll see how that goes. But I have to have 10 for me to go. So that's my goal. I guess target is 10 plus. No, I'm not. I mean, anybody who wants to go, I think would have a great time doing it. So.
Excellent. We need to make this official so Phil can have his meeting, as long as everybody's amicable. So I will need a motion.
I move to approve the close-up trip for 2026.
A second.
Okay. Since we've already had questions and comments, bring it to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thanks again, Phil.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
your time. Thanks.
Okay, I think we'll just skip
Yep.
Mrs. Forkmeyer's retirement.
Move to table.
That's not funny.
Oh, Mrs. Forkmeyer. Item 662, approval of Terry Forkmeyer retirement.
Come on, say something. Kevin, is this your fault?
Free reign to do as she chooses.
I
Well-
move to accept Terry Fortmeyer's retirement.
With regret, I would
With
assume.
regret, yes.
And I will also with regret second.
Any
So-
further questions, comments? The letter was in your packet.
May I say something?
Absolutely, you
I
may.
just want to thank everyone. It's been a time of my life. Thank you.
No, we thank you.
John knew I'd do this, right, John?
That's better than I thought.
So I loved working for this administration, and our principal is the best. You guys know that, and the board. It was so fun coming to present the kids and STEM club and everything. You just let me take things on and fly with them, and I appreciate that so much. So thank you.
Appreciate you, for sure. With that, we do need to have a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. And those opposed, nay. Motion carries. I assume there'll be a little recognition luncheon or something somewhere along the way?
Yeah.
Good. All right. Don't know why that wasn't at the end, but we have one more at the end. Item 663, approval of the backpacking class overnight. I'm not sure, is somebody taking this on?
I'm right here.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
It's a really hard act to follow.
I have some flyers here, I'll just give you
Oh,
all.
fantastic.
Well, we
This
basically-
sounds amazing, by the way.
Yeah, we have myself,
Thank you.
Ms. Bishop and Ms. Grizzly put together a new class for the May term. And we're gonna teach kids what it's like to be out in the wilderness, how to survive in the wilderness, how to pack a pack to go backpacking, the history about the location we're gonna go to. Yeah, we're really excited about it. Came to you because we're asking for 2 overnights. We're gonna go, I think, the 28th, 29th, and 30th of May.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, and we partnered with Camp Nuevo, and they're providing all the equipment this year. So the startup here, all the food, everything that the kids will need while out there, and it's $175 a student. We are going to try fundraising to try to take care of most of that. So long-term goal over 3 to 5 years to have our own equipment that the kids can use and reuse each year. Yeah, we're really excited about it.
So being able to travel to new places and maybe incorporate some sort of fun alternative spring breaks down the road and see how
10 of them, we already have 60 signed up.
Yes,
That's the
students are very
maximum in
excited.
class, so we're gonna set up a kind of like an application process to weed it down, because I'm not ready to take 60 students out.
Which also will teach students, what an application process looks like, how to market yourself, but also like share your passion and talk about your interests. Yeah, so it's primarily starting with juniors and then sophomores, then freshmen. So we'll do a little bit of a seniority there. Yeah, we'll have a day hike throughout the semester. We're bringing in a couple speakers. One's going to teach about military survival, and another is indigenous survival and indigenous cultures for the location we're going to be traveling to. So really, really looking forward to it.
I've been scaring the students because I told them all they're gonna eat for 3 days is those MREs, those
I bet you they'd still love it.
Anyway. So yeah, we're asking for your approval to go on this trip and do this overnight with them, so.
How many students do you expect to be able to take?
So this year, about 30 to 35. We don't want to go over 45, but for the first year, it'll probably be a little under. We also have a trained guide that'll be with us from Camp Nuevo that does this as their career. So they're certified in many more things than we will be. We'll all be certified in CPR, first aid, and
That'd be
the
cool.
guide as well. So for adults, total and detention.
Any further questions for Ms. Bishop or Mr. Stevens?
Sounds great. Yeah.
Sounds great.
You guys are welcome to come in. We take volunteers.
You have a day trip planned? I'm not sure I can do an overnight on the ground and get up the next day. All right, well, thank you. And we
Thank you.
do need to make it official because I think mostly just because it's out of school overnight. That's why we're approving it versus most curriculum. We don't necessarily approve every class. So, with that being said, I would entertain a motion to approve this trip and class.
I move to approve the backpacking class and overnight.
I second.
Okay. Further questions? All right, all those in favor of approving the backpacking class overnight trip, please say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Like I said, the board member recognition, we're going to table until next meeting when we can have that person here and some others also. So that brings us to board comments. Start with,
And like, don't be scared to speak slowly so I can.
Okay.
start with Kim.
Well, first I want to thank you, Terry, for your years of dedication to North Muskegon. It's so humbling to see teachers stay here so long and dedicate so much of their time to the families and the students and the community. So thank you. I also want to say congratulations to the sports teams, John in particular, for creating the amazing wrestling program that was so successful this year, and the basketball team as well. And also a shout out to the choir, both middle school and high school, for receiving ones at their performances.
Okay, before we move on, we're going to make sure.
Just want to make sure.
Just write down wrestling.
Good?
Yep.
All right. Dr. Lisa.
I would like to first thank, what a great meeting with so many teachers here and great new experiences for the students. Thank you all very much. And Mrs. Fortmeyer, thank you so much for your dedication to all the students. Personally, you've had both of my daughters, and I think that fourth grade time is such a moment of significant, pivot in their elementary experience, and you have been so instrumental in pushing them and encouraging them in just the best way. We couldn't have asked for anything more. I'm so happy that both my kids got me. And we do hope to see you around in the future. I would like to congratulate the showcase winners from North Muskegon. Kaylee Martin took the top prize of Showstopper, and if you didn't see it at the talent show or at Showcase, find it on video because it really was a showstopper performance. And then our group performance got second place with the Mean Girls, and which was just great. It was a fun night of lots of great talent from all around the area, and North Muskegon just shined, so congratulations. And then I'm also going to congratulate the competitive cheer team. They had a successful season, but they also, for the third year in a row, were the D4 All-State Academic Team with a combined GPA of 3.84, and which is just such an amazing accomplishment. These girls spent 2.5 hours a day, November, December, January, and February, at practice or meets, and to really maintain that high academic standard was really great.
No, that's okay.
I do.
The fun thing is I know what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
So I'm excited that Close Up is coming back. Like I mentioned earlier, I went when I was in high school, and it's just such a good experience, and I'm glad that our kids are going to get to experience that. The backpacking class, and that sounds so exciting, and I think that is what that chunk of time at the end of the year is for, to have experiences that don't necessarily fit into the regular curriculum. And I'm glad that you guys have so many people, not that you want to take all 60 out like you said, but that there's the interest. That's great. And then Mrs. Fortmeyer. You know I love you, and just thank you for all that you've done for my kids, for all of our kids over the years. There's more, but then we'll both be crying. Nobody wants that.
And I still have to go too. All right, I do want to thank our exceptional staff. Phil for stepping up and restarting Close-Up. I have had students come in and give presentations afterward, and it's amazing what a great experience it can be for those kids. Ms. Bishop, Mr. Stevens, and Mrs. Risley for thinking outside of the box, coming up with some new and great creative opportunities for our kids. I think that is perfectly in line with what we hope to do with that third try, with trying to find some more life skills, maybe more so than your regular curriculum. So thank you for putting that together. And Terry, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great career. With
She's
that,
not quite done yet, though.
No, I'm way more to do.
oh,
Wait a minute,
yeah.
she's
yeah.
not quite
Ms.
I
Fortmeyer is
thought
not
what?
quite
She's
done.
not
The career's not over. Terry's coming to work tomorrow. I'll make that clear. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. We'll call the meeting adjourned at, yep.
Okay.
Nice job. Way to pull this together.